Hello, Woodlands bass players. I hope you're all doing well and you're finding a lot of time to practice. I just wanted to start making these videos to make sure we're moving along with our instruments and that we're continuing to move through the book and we keep practicing. So, just wanted to I wanted to start making these videos and we're just going to pick up right where we left off and keep moving through the book. But first, what I want to do is I want to cover a couple things before we start. Again, with posture, you're sitting up tall, sitting up straight. When you play, you don't want your wrist bent like this. You don't want it bent back here. You want it nice and straight and in line. So you can see my forearm and my wrist are nice and straight. Now, and then again, your thumb is on the back of the bass. And when you play a fret, you put your finger down right behind the fret. So if I'm playing my first fret here, I'm putting my finger right behind the fret. Okay, so that's just a couple things. And then again, before we start, we need to make sure we're in tune. So if you do not have a tuner yet, make sure you get one. You can get them on Amazon. Again, this is called a Snark. They work really well. And with bass, you want to use either a tuner that clips on because the low notes are hard to pick up just from like talking. So like if I'm going to use a tuner that's on my phone, it's going to be really hard to pick up these low notes in the bass. So these Snarks, they're not that expensive. They're like $10. And they work really well. There's also, I think it's called a Korg, but what it does is it plugs into your bass. So again, it's really important that you get a tuner to play in tune. If you don't have one yet, either try to use a phone app, just go on the marketplace and look up a tuner, or you can use the access code in the back of the book. That gives you access to a tuner and a metronome. So let's first make sure we're in tune. So our lowest note, our thickest string, the one closest to our face, needs to be an E. So I'm a little low, so I want to tighten my string to bring the note higher. Now I'm going to go to my next string, which is an A. And as I'm doing this, I'm holding these other strings down just barely. I'm not pushing them down, I'm just touching them so they do not vibrate. So A, my A is a little high. So to bring it lower, I need to loosen my string. All right, my next note is a D. D is a little high, so I'm going to loosen my string to bring it lower. If it's sharp, if the note is higher, sharp, you need to loosen your string to bring it lower. If it's low, you need to tighten the string to bring it higher. And the highest string should be a G. So if you can hear it, a low E, A, D, and then the high G. All right, so now that we got our bass in tune, we're going to go ahead and we're going to review the 5 notes that we've learned so far. Oh, but before we do that, I want to talk about plucking. So again, your thumb is planted either right here on, this is called a pickup, or you could put it right here on the neck. Myself personally, I like to rest it on the pickup. And then again, you're using either one finger or 2 fingers to alternate and pluck upwards. When you're playing on this D string, which is where we're going to start, you pluck up and your finger rests onto the next string. So again, remember we want to do that rest stroke. That's super important. So if you're using one finger or if you're using 2 fingers, it's up to you. But you got to do that rest stroke. Remember, you're dragging your finger across the top of the string. You're not like going under it and plucking it. That'll give you a bad sound. So you're just dragging your finger across the string. All right, so we're going to review the notes we've learned so far. So we're starting on B flat, which is, if you could see, my first fret of the second string closest to my face. So that's B flat. And now what I want you guys to do is get used to using your 2 fingers together. So your fingers are going to kind of go like this. it'll be one per fret kind of a thing. But because bass is so long, you need to combine your pinky and your ring finger together. So when I come down on that 3rd fret for my C note, I'm bringing my pinky and my ring finger down together. And I'm also leaving these 2 fingers down. I don't pick them up. I leave them down. So that helps keep that energy use efficient when I move back and forth. If I'm going to go back and forth like this, that's wasted energy. So I just keep it down and I set my fingers down together. So again, B flat is our 1st fret. C is our 2nd fret. Then when we go to high D, it's the open D. Then we go to E flat, which is 1st fret of the D string. And then we go to F, which is 3rd fret of the D string. Again, I'm trying to keep my wrist straight. So we're going to play each note for a long tone. Actually, we're just going to play each note as a scale. So we're going to start on B flat and we're going to walk up to F and then we're going to walk back down. So we're going to go really slow. Ready? 1, 2, B flat, go. C, D, E flat, F, E flat, D, C, B flat. So also, I want you guys to say the note names as you're playing them. That'll help you start to memorize where each note is on the neck of your instrument. So let's go again, starting on B flat. 2, ready, go. B flat, C, D, E flat, F, E flat, D, C, B flat. So obviously when you play your C, there's going to be a slight curve. Just try not to like overdo it. You don't want to be tense or strained. So there's going to be a slight curve. But again, keep your fingers curved like a claw. When you're doing that. Your first finger though is kind of flat to mute those other 2 high strings. So you can't hear those high strings because I'm muting them. And then my thumb and my other finger are muting this string. So when I'm playing this A string, these 2 strings are muted by my first finger, and this string is muted by my rest stroke. So it's very important that we mute the strings we're not playing. Otherwise, they'll start to ring out, and it'll start to sound really muddy and washy, and you know, it just doesn't sound good. Bass, 90% of the time is 1 note at a time. Even if you're playing fast, it's still 1 note at a time. All right, so now that we reviewed our notes, what we're going to do is we're going to start where we picked up last in the book. So we're going to start with Rain, Rain, and we're just going to finger through and say the note names without plucking, and then we're going to pluck. So we're going to go really slow, saying the notes and fingering through. So again, we're starting on F. So F is all your fingers down on that 3rd fret of the high D string, the 3rd string closest to your face when you look down. So starting on F, without plucking, we're going to start on F. Ready, 2, counting in time, ready, and go. And F, open D, F, F, open D, F, F, D, E flat, F, F, D, F, open D, F, rest, D, rest, F, F, D, E flat, rest, F, D. Now remember, those whole half notes, they get 2 counts. So we got to make sure we sustain that sound for 2 counts. We don't want to cut it short. Measure 6, though, we do cut it short because there's a rest right after that. So make sure you're really focused on your counting and making sure you're playing right with those rests. Rhythm is the most important thing. So if you're not counting and you're not focused on the rhythm, that's you're going to be off. So that's why we do those rhythm reviews so much. Rhythm is the most important thing. So really focus your counting. And now we're going to try it while plucking and saying the notes at the same time. So here we go. Really slowly plucking and saying the notes at the same time. Starting on F. Here we go. Keep your wrist straight. 1, and we're doing our rest stroke. 1, 2, really slow, ready, and go. And oh, sorry, that's a D. My fault. Starting on F. 1, 2, ready, and go. Rest, rest, rest. Alright, my fault. I accidentally played the E flat again when it's a D. Ugh, my fault. So, if you look really closely, you see it's basically only 2 notes. It's just that F and the D. And then there's only 2 E flats. There's that one in measure 3, there's that one in measure 7. So let's go ahead and try it a little bit faster. And again, it also helps to say the note names out loud as you're playing. So even as you're plucking and saying the note names, just so you start memorizing, okay, we're in bass clef, fourth line up is an F. Third line up is a D. I gotta start memorizing that. Bass clef is different than treble clef. Remember, good burritos don't fall apart, and all cows eat grass. So here we go. Starting on the F, rain, rain a little faster. 1, 2, ready, and go. And F, D, F, F, D, F, F, D, E flat, F, F, D, F, D, F, rest, D, rest, F, F, D, E flat, rest, F, D. Awesome. So remember, when we have those rests, we need to stop the sound of our string vibrating. With when you play a wind instrument, you just cut your air off. But with this, you have to actually touch it to stop your sound. So that was Rain Rain. Let's try it at the fastest tempo. Again, this is about the tempo, I think, with the backing track in the back of the book. So make sure you use those. That's a great resource. You just type in that access code, and you can either have it on your phone as an app or as a desktop icon. So here we go. Rain Rain, fastest tempo. 1, 2, ready, and go. Alright, also, when you're playing D to F, make sure you're setting all your fingers down together. So you can practice that muscle memory. Careful your fingers don't collapse like that. You want your knuckles nice and curved. Alright, we're going to move on to the next one. This one's in a minor mood. Again, we're going to say the note names and before we're plucking. No plucking yet, just saying the note names and really focusing on where they are in the staff, because it's bass clef, and then where they are on the neck. So, we're starting, our first note is an E flat. That is the third space up. Remember, all cows eat E flat because there's a flat in front of it. All cows eat grass. Third space up is an E in bass clef. So, E flat, again, is our first fret. So here we go. E flat to open D to then C, which is our third fret of that A string. the second string closest to our face. So it'll be E flat, first fret, open D to C. Now remember C, I'm putting all, just like how we did with F, C, all 4 of my fingers are coming down. So I'll try to keep these 2 guys together, 1 per fret. You can see how my fingers line up right behind the frets. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, here we go. Starting on E flat. 1, 2, just counting and notes. E flat, open D, C, 2, 3, 4. E flat, open D, C, 2, rest, rest. C, open D, E flat, F, E flat, open D, C, right. And that one you hold it out for 4 counts because it's a whole note. Whole notes get 4 counts. So also remember, we're going E flat to F, back to E flat. You just got to set them down and lift them back up. That first finger stays exactly where it is. So don't waste energy by moving back and forth like that. Just keep your first finger planted. All right. Here we go. So here's in a minor mood, slowest tempo, plucking now, and fingering. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and go. And 3, 4. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. All right, did you remember to hold out that last C for the whole 4 counts? All right, here we go. We're going to try it a little faster now. We're going to say the note names out loud. If you're not ready to go faster, go ahead, pause the video, rewind it, try it again slower. But here we go. Here's a little faster. Again, saying the note names out loud as we play. 1, 2, ready, and go. E flat, D, C, E flat, D, D, C, rest, rest. C, D, E flat, F, E flat, rest, D, rest, C, rest. Keep going. Hold that up. Awesome. So remember, also, if you see a flat in a measure, that stays through the measure. So measure 3, it says E flat, and then there's another E note, but they didn't put the flat in front of it. It's still an E flat because it's in the same measure. If we go to a next measure and there's an E without the flat, then it would be an E natural. But because it's the same measure, that E flat carries through. So that's just a rule in music we just got to follow. So just start getting used to seeing, if you see that E flat, just know, again, okay, it's my same note. If I were to play an E, it would sound like, so yeah. That doesn't sound good. So it's 2 E flats. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So here we go. We're going to do in a minor mood, our fastest tempo. Again, I think this is the speed of the backing track. Got to use those backing tracks. And if you're not ready, pause it, rewind it, try again. Here we go. In a minor mood, starting on E flat. 1, 2, ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, rest, rest. Make sure you hold that last note out for 4 counts. Also, measure 4, you have to cut that C note short. So 1, 2, rest, rest. Got to have 2 beats of rest. All right, here we go. Hot cross buns. This is our next one. again, if you're not ready to move on yet, go ahead, pause it, try your other stuff again, but we're going to move on. So this one's Hot Cross Buns. Now this one is starting on open D, and then we go to C, which again is just like F, but we're on the A string, and then B flat. Remember, if you ever forget any of these fingerings, they're right in the front of the book on the front cover. It's got a fingering chart, so don't be afraid to look that up if you ever forget. So we're going to finger through and say the note names. And yeah, without plucking though. So saying the note names without plucking. So here we go. We're going to start. 1, 2, ready, go. D, C, B flat. 2, 3, 4. Open D, C, B flat. 2, rest, rest. B flat, B flat, B flat, B flat. C, 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 open D, C, B flat, 2, 3, 4. So remember, hold that B flat out. Also, in measure 5, that's all repeated B flats. Again, remember that B flat, the flat carries through the measure. It wouldn't be. That wouldn't fit the song. So here we go. We're gonna try it really slow. Fingering and saying the note names, fingering and plucking really slowly. Ready? Here we go. If you're not ready yet, pause the video, try again. And you want to make sure you get the note names and the fingerings down before you start adding in the plucking, because it's just more to think about when you start adding more stuff. So you really want to make sure you got, okay, that's a D. Okay, that's a C. That's a B flat. Okay, those are my notes. I'm reading the notes in the staff. I can't just go by memory. I need to start reading, so that when we get new pieces of music, it's you're able to actually understand it. Okay, so here we go. Really slowly. Hot Cross Buns, plucking and fingering. 1, 2, starts on open D. 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Remember, hold out that last note. Here we go. We're going to do it again, plucking now and saying the notes. 1, 2, ready, go. Open D, C, B flat, 2, 3, 4. D, C, B flat, 2, rest, rest. B flat, B flat, B flat, B flat, C, 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 D, rest, C, rest. B flat, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's try it now. Fastest tempo with count in your head, but really focus on where you're playing each note, right behind that fret, nice and relaxed. You don't want to be tense. If you're tense, that's bad. Stay relaxed. Here we go. 1, 2, Hot Cross Buns. All right, so we made it to number 20. Now, this one's going to be probably our hardest one so far. It's got all the notes we've used. It's got all the different rhythms. Yeah, this one, and it makes sense because it says test right above it. So we're going to focus on, again, counting out the notes, counting out where the rhythms are, where there are jumps, where we're not just moving from note to note anymore. There's a couple jumps. There's that B flat to F. So that one is a string crossing jump. So you got that B flat in this string to F in this string. So let's look ahead and say the note names as we are counting. All right, here we go. No plucking. Just looking ahead, fingering, and saying the note names. 1, 2, ready, go. Open D, D, C, B flat, rest, B flat, rest. C, C, E flat, open D, C, B flat, rest. F, F, E flat, D, rest, D, D, C, E flat, D, C, B flat, 2, rest, rest. Again, so if you're not ready to move on yet, pause it, do that again. It's really great to get that figured out before you start adding this. And again, if that slowest tempo is still a little too fast, go in the YouTube settings, go and slow down the video. You can even do that. So, but we're going to now finger through really slowly, plucking and playing the notes, fingering the notes. So it starts on the open D. All right, here we go. Again, when I'm playing these higher strings, my thumb then moves from the pickup to whatever next string. So that you want to start getting used to also. Again, it's all in the muting. You don't want extra strings to ring. All right, so here we go. Starting on D, open D. Starting Go Talent Roadie. 1, 2, very slow. Rest. All right, how'd you do? So, it's very important to keep glancing back and forth from your fingers to the music. Make sure you don't lose your spot, though. You got to keep your eyes sharp, keep your focus right, moving along. All right, here we go. Here's Go Talent Roadie. A little faster, but still counting and saying the note names as we play. Starts on open D. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. D, D, C, B flat, rest, B flat, rest. C, C, E flat, D, C, B flat. F, F, E flat, D, rest, D, D, C, E flat, D, C, B flat, rest, rest. All right, how'd you do? So remember, we're going to move on faster. If you're not ready to go faster yet, don't be afraid to pause it and try it again. But here's our fastest tempo. Again, I think this is the speed of the backing track in the back of the book. So do not be afraid to look that up. Make sure you use that resource. Do not neglect it. All right, here we go. So here's Go Talent Roadie, and this is our fastest tempo. So 1, 2, ready on D. 1, 2, 2, rest. Rest, rest. All right, so how'd you do? I know that was a tough one. So again, keep practicing. Keep making sure you're doing your rest strokes. You can just practice on the open string. You know, when you're watching TV, just keep getting that muscle memory down and just keep plugging away. Just keep getting that muscle memory. So again, when you're on that low string, your thumb goes onto the pickup. And then you could practice playing other notes too. Remember to keep that 1 and then your 4 together. So yeah, you could practice that. Open string, and then C, and then your 5th fret. That sounds pretty cool. So yeah, just keep practicing getting that muscle memory down. You can getting that B flat scale down, B flat. those are our notes we've learned so far. B flat, C, D, E flat, F. All right, yeah. So my plan is to put out a new video each week. So keep looking for those. Keep practicing along. Keep slapping that bass. But what I want you to do now, and it says number 21 to draw a bass clef and to fill in the rest of the notes. You can go ahead and do that. It tells you in number 6 how to do the bass clef. So go ahead and draw a bass clef, because we're eventually gonna write our own music. So we got to learn how to write the notation. So, yep, just keep plugging along, keep practicing. Again, if you have any questions or anything, don't be afraid to dojo me or to email my email address, and I'll be glad to help. So, again, stay safe, keep practicing, and hope to see you guys soon. All right, bye. Have a good one.